Are you ready to build stunning websites without touching a single line of code? Hi, my name is Anand, and over the years, I've mastered the art of building websites. Join me today as I unveil Wix Studio, the powerhouse tool that is revolutionizing the web design industry. Let's dive right in. Alright, so let's explore why I think Wix Studio stands out in the world of website builders. Here's the rundown. First off, Wix Studio offers unrivaled flexibility and customization. So unlike some other website builders that just box you into their preset designs, Wix Studio will give you the freedom to truly make your site your own. You will tailor every aspect to your vision. What you have in mind is what you create. You have a blank canvas, so bring everything to life. Next up, it has a really highly intuitive and a user-friendly interface, and with a library of features plus mind-boggling SEO tools, because of course when you're going to build a website, you just don't want to see how beautiful it is. The end point is that this website is supposed to be a money-making machine for your business, to make sure that it is seen and that when a customer or someone lands on your website, they're going to know what to do. And so these SEO tools help get your website seen. Okay, so now let's get our hands dirty. We're going to start a project from scratch together, and then we're going to use that to explore the interface. You'll watch as I navigate through the Wix Studio's dashboard. But to do that, you're going to head over to wix.com/studio, and then you'll land on this nicely built homepage for the Wix Studio platform. You get to have a look at all the features that they have, the capabilities, of course, like I said, the options are really endless. And then when you feel like you're ready, you're going to hit start creating. After opening up an account, you land on a page that looks just like this, the discover page. This is like the back end. One of the main selling points of the Wix Studio is that it is a web development platform that is built for agencies and freelancers. I think this has a lot to talk about their functionality, and that it's built not just to make the websites look good, but it's tons of tools and resources help you to run an actual business at the back end. How are you going to deal with your clients? How are you going to hand over these projects? You can save your custom templates. If you're into coding and programming, you can create your apps and sell them on the market, but that's not why we are here. So what you're going to do is that to start up a new project, you're going to hit the create a new site. You either start with a template, or if you just want to get right at it, you're going to choose a blank canvas. You can start by exploring all of these templates that they have on their websites. If you have your brand guidelines ready, you have your logo, your imagery, and your message, you can just look for which template that is going to work for me. You can either filter by industry or by the type of business or by which kinds of features that you want on this website. Either you want to start a blog or to sell some stuff or to have some bookings, or you're a designer just like me and you want to create a portfolio. Like I said, all of this is up for you. But most times you just have a project in mind that you want to create, starting with a blank canvas, and that's what I usually do. So when you create that, you're going to land here. So this is where the magic comes to life. Let's explore a few tools here. Up on the top left, that's where you get to if you want to go back to your dashboard, to some more tools here, and then on the right of that you can click this drop down. This is where you get access and view all the pages that you have. In the middle here, this was one of my most exciting tools. Earlier on in the early years of Wix, it was really rigid, like you had not a lot of flexibility, but it gives you these starting breakpoints, the desktop, the tablet, and then the mobile. So it's important to know that you can't design for every possible screen out there. There are loads of devices, but these major breakpoints, make sure that you're covering the major breakpoints. Yeah? And so if you actually turn on the eye here, it shows you that this thing is going to scale from the mobile, the smallest screen, to the largest screen possible. But if you're on a specific breakpoint, let's say you're on the desktop, when you go down and then you let go, it snaps back to that default. And then the same applies to the tablet and then to the mobile. You can ideally add your custom breakpoints, but I usually leave it at this because I feel like this covers the major breakpoints out there. So to the right, of course, you have your account icon, but if you want to preview, that's what you click. And then with just a few clicks, you can publish your website and everyone everywhere, they can be able to see it. But anyway, there is this arrow here. When you click it, it pulls out what we call the inspector panel. So in this panel, so let's go ahead and build a hero section for a fictional company that we're going to make up on the spot here. And then we'll have a chance to see some of these tools in action. And maybe hopefully you can make it responsive as we go ahead. So I don't know what I'm going to call this company, but what I know is that every business has a logo, and in the header, that's why I have our logo in the left, and I'll put the menu in the right and a call to action. So let's create something from scratch. I'll come in the decorative section here. I'll look for any shape because I'm just going to make up a logo. I think I like this asterisk. Maybe let me just use this star here. I'll drop it here, resize it, come in my colors. I'll choose any color that I'm going to use. I think I like this blue here. Let me resize this and make it a bit smaller. Come add a text element onto the canvas. Let me choose this heading 5. It's a bit long. I'm going to resize it. Like I said, most of this is just very intuitive. What you see is what you get. The heading, what should I call this? Let's say Legofy. Maybe it's going to be a fictional legal company. I will stack them. What the stack does is that you're creating a relationship. So as the page resizes, these two are going to scale relative to each other. But if you do not do that, many times it might go out of scale. Let me make this a bit smaller. The color, let me see if I have any color here that I might like. Let me just leave it at black. And then I'll drag this. Of course, it's not in the header. You can even see the handles, those docking handles, if I may call them that. I'll drop it in here and it will snap itself automatically there. So you can either choose to drag it manually, or I can come in the inspector panel and I precisely give it the kind of padding or margin that I want. So let me grab a menu element. There's some pre-built menus here. I can come here and I just drop it in here. Ideally, you might find that most likely you're going to find that you don't have these pages built out. You're actually going to find that this pages panel is going to have only one page. It's the home page. What you do, you just click add, you add the different pages, and then after adding them, you'll have to come and manually add them also on this menu. You'll come to manage menu, and you click so when you come to the manage menu, you'll see that you have only one item. Just click add item, main pages. Then you can either add all of them, you can either choose one depending on what you want your customers and your visitors to see. And then what you do after that, you click apply. So we have that there. So you get to see that most of these are black, then one is blue. The one that is highlighted shows that it is the one that is that you're currently on. But I usually like designing from the home page, so I want the home page to be in focus. I'll give it a few seconds here, and then it will come up. Okay, let's go ahead. I'll extend this further to the left because I want to add a button or a call to action. Come in my buttons here, and then you can just drag it into the canvas. I'll resize, put it where I want, just like that, and then I'll select all of these two. I pressed shift and then I click, I create another stack here. I want this to be in the middle. I'll just click align to the vertical center, and then I'll also come and make sure that the right margin is the same as the other logo on the far left. How about our button here? I want to do some changes. I want to change its color to this other blue that we use for the logo. So that's for the regular state. How about when I hover? When I hover, it just has that blue border. I think it looks good. I'll just give it a slight grayish feel so that when you hover, you get to see that effect. Let's do a little editing on the menu. So when I select it, it's the menu container, but I can come and dig down inside the elements or the child elements, which are the menu items. So I can choose how they're going to look like, the text and the text color, This is the regular. I'll give it this slight grayish, and then I'll change the font here to let me use intermedium, so that it kind of has that slight thickness. Okay, then I don't like this flat button. Let's change the corners. I'll give it a 5 pixel corner radius. Okay, so let's see how it responds while we are resizing. So it wraps itself there. What we will do is that we can come to the menu, and so it has a relative width. Let's make it fixed and see how it responds. Yep, it looks right about well. And then if I scale further, you see that they keep scaling scale proportionally, but these as well are scaling very very much. Let me keep this fixed. Let me keep this as well. So of course, at times when you scale it to bigger screens, it might get out of hand and it will get really very big, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so that doesn't look bad. So let's see how our header responds on different breakpoints. If we are to scale down to the tablet, that's the smallest possible desktop screen. Yeah, and it looks good. And if we widen it, yeah, it keeps looking good. Now let's go to the tablet, and like, whoa, this looks very squashed in one place. I'll pull up my inspector panel. I'll just reduce this maybe to a 6% margin, and then that gets some breathing space here. Now what we can do is we can hide these elements. We can hide this menu on the smaller screen sizes. I'll click in these individual items. I can say hide. Where is it? Should be somewhere here. Hide, and then I can do the same for the button. I can just say hide so that it doesn't show that. It doesn't mean that I've deleted it on the on all breakpoints, but if I click delete, it's going to be deleted even up. But if I go back to the desktop, it is still there. So how the rule works is that any changes that I make on the big screen, it's going to affect the ones down, but it doesn't go up. So it's called the cascading rule. So it doesn't look bad. Let me reduce this also. I'll give it a 20 because it is set to fixed. And then this one, I'll resize it a little bit to be a bit smaller on this small screen. Okay, yep, we're looking good. Let me just also give this 6 so that we are consistent. Now how about on the mobile, the small screen? Yep, we're looking good. Let's go back now, build out the other section. I'll split the screen. I think I wanted for an image here and some text on the left. That's a very common layout. I'll come here. I can either choose to go here and just do a quick add. I drop an image here, or I can just do this, right click, and then I do quick add and then image. Then it will pop there. I'm going to scale, stretch this to fill that entire cell. What I'll do, I'll just click change image, pull up a window here. If I have any photos or site files uploaded already, I can select it from there, but I'm going to go to Unsplash or media from Wix. If you have a Shutterstock subscription, you can't do that. Let me search for something here. Let me do business, then I'll look for, yeah, I like this guy smiling. Let me update that to be one of our hero images. Okay, you can click here to choose a focal point that when the website is scaling, I want always this guy smile to be seen so that it doesn't go out of focus. And then now I'm going to give it to add a title in here. I'll just come in the add panel, text element, add our H1. Looks too big, but yeah, we can edit it in just a few steps here. I'll give it a 64. Let me see how it looks. Resize it a bit. So what are we going to write here? You can just use AI. There is a generative AI inside Wix. Just give it a type of business, and then I'll say this, it's a law firm, business name, Legofy. Text type, I want it to be a title, not about, but welcome. And then I'll create the text. We help you build a stronger case, expert legal solution at your service. Latest Legofy. Yeah, I like the way that rhymes. Okay, there we go. I'll scale this a bit. Yes, it looks a bit big. I'll narrow it down. So usually we have a description down below, add text. I need a paragraph. Don't know what I'm going to write. We might just have to leave it at that. Wix made for text medium. Let's give it a 16 pixels. Just give it this slight grayish, slight gray color. We need a button. We can either choose to duplicate this. That's what I'm going to do. I press Command C and then Command V here. Put it just at the bottom here. Make it a bit bigger. Then change the text element. Start now. Let me see. Schedule a call. So then the call to action has changed. I'll put all of these into a stack. Remember, we have to create a relationship, because if we don't, they're going to, scale in a very, very, very crazy way. Yeah, doesn't look bad. You can either click this I button here to see how it's going to respond on different in different ways. So now let's try scaling it. Yeah, not bad. But now you can notice that this text here is scaling really small as we go down. So you can set a min and max scaling. So I'll say that I don't want you to scale any further than 18, but I don't want to go any lower than 15. And so you're giving it boundaries. I also want it to fill up this whole stack area. Just come here, can add advanced sizing, and then just say I want you to fill 100% of that section. This one is already doing itself, so let's also give this a text scale. Right now it is at 57. You can tell it I don't want you to scale further than 60, but I don't want you to go lower than, let's say, 40. So that's going to go all the way down to the smallest breakpoint. So now let's try testing it out once again and see. Okay, so we are seeing that it is in action. How about when you go smaller? Yep, we might have to increase it here a bit. So before, while you're building, it's all about playing around with these values. Okay, you'll see that, yeah, I can tweak this, you tweak that, and until you have like the best solution that you want for that specific need that you're having. I might also, oops, I don't want to do that. Let's just undo that. I might also want to give this a few corners so that it's not like very flat, and make sure that it follows the design, the feel. It's not like very edgy. Okay, so let's make this responsive as well. How does it look like on smaller breakpoints? I can come to the tablet. Yep, it's not so bad. All we need is just to do some minor adjustments. I want this to be in the middle, just like that, so you can see that it gets squished. What I will do is to give this a little bit of margins on the top and on the bottom. Let me give it a 5% margin on the top, and then a 5% margin on the bottom. Okay, and so I will widen this up just a bit so that some of these elements get some breathing space. I can just even ideally grab the entire section and I'll make it a bit larger. Okay, and then this button, it has to be a bit more proportional to how the rest of the elements feel and look like. Okay, not so bad. Let's go to the mobile. Here the layout has to entirely change. Yep. So since it is now in kind of like columns, we're going to change it to rows. And when we do that, it gets some extra breathing space. Once again, let's select the section grid and enlarge it just like that. So it's going to keep sizing proportionally. Do I want this to be this small? Let me say I want it to be 44. And then this one here, 15, sounds about right. Let's make this a little bit bigger. I will select this stack, and then I don't want it to be docked to the right, because it will, while this is scaling, it will be going to the right. I want it to be docked to the left. Okay. Yeah, I think we are looking good. Maybe this needs a little bit more margin, but let me give it a 10% top margin, and then let's give it a 5% bottom margin so that there is breathing space there. So by doing that, you've designed for both the mobile, the tablet, and then the desktop. So like I said earlier on, these are like the biggest, like the main breakpoints that we have. You're not going to be able to design for all possible screens out there, because there are many each time, each day, not each day, that's an exaggeration, but each time there are all of these things coming out. But with that, we've had a tour of the Wix Studio interface. After being comfortable with your design, you can just try to actually first preview how it looks like, and then you're going to scale it and see how it looks like on all different breakpoints. So we managed to do that together in this place. And then once you connect a domain, you're going to click publish, and then there's some other steps that follow along after that. So let me know if there are any questions, because there's a lot to cover here. Then we can answer them together. But in the next video, we're actually going to go through a full web design process. They'll give you a design in a Figma file, this icon here, and then how do you translate that from a design in a design software to an actual website that looks good, that functions very well. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.